the enemy at your table. Most rulers are not destroyed by armies at the gate. They are destroyed by enemies they allowed to sit at their own table, smiling, eating, waiting. Power rarely collapses overnight. It rots in silence. It weakens because of poisons the ruler tolerated. Little betrayals, small cowardices, flattering words, ungrateful allies. Each one seems harmless in the moment, but together they hollow out the throne until it collapses under its own weight. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He saw that the greatest threats are rarely outside your walls. They are the behaviors you accept inside them. A general can fight an enemy on the battlefield, but who fights the traitor sitting across from him at dinner? And here's the part that should disturb you. This is not just about kings or princes. It's about you. You may not rule a kingdom, but you rule your own life, your career, your relationships, your ambitions. If you tolerate the wrong behaviors, if you let them sit at your table, they will eat you alive just the same. The trap of tolerance. Today, we are told that tolerance is a virtue. Forgive endlessly. Be patient. Take the high road. But Machiavelli would spit on this advice. He believed tolerance is not noble. It is negligence. Imagine a ruler who forgives a traitor because of compassion. That is not mercy. That is weakness. And weakness, once exposed, spreads like blood in water, drawing predators from every direction. When you let dangerous behaviors sit at your table, whether it's betrayal from a colleague, flattery from a sycophant, or ingratitude from a friend, you are not showing strength. You are feeding your own executioner. The silent assassins. Think of these behaviors as assassins. They don't always strike immediately. Sometimes they charm you. They flatter you. They pretend to serve. But every day you tolerate them, they sharpen their knives. The flatterer keeps you blind, whispering what you want to hear until you stop seeing what is real. The coward deserts you when storms come, leaving you exposed. The ingrate takes from you again and again, then turns their back the moment you need them. Their danger is not in the sudden strike. It is in the slow erosion of your defenses. By the time you see it, it is already too late. Machiavelli's brutal clarity. In The Prince, Machiavelli never begged rulers to be loved. He told them to be feared, or at least respected. Why? Because fear deters betrayal. Fear silences defiance. Fear forces loyalty where gratitude fails. That is why he urged rulers to act immediately when these poisons appeared. Delay is death. When Cesare Borgia discovered treachery in his circle, he did not debate. He did not wait. He executed the traitor in public, sending a message sharper than any speech. Betrayal will not be tolerated. Was it cruel? Yes. Was it effective? Absolutely. Fear purged his circle faster than forgiveness ever could. The modern table. You may think this belongs to the past, but look closer. In business, how many leaders tolerate gossip, politics, disloyalty? It begins as whispers, but soon the company is divided. Factions rise. Trust collapses. By the time the leader notices, authority is already gone. In relationships, how many people tolerate small acts of disrespect? A broken promise, a dismissive word, a lie forgiven too quickly. Each time they tell themselves it is minor. Each time the foundation cracks a little more. One day, the entire structure falls apart. The same law applies everywhere. What you tolerate, you endorse. And what you endorse, you will eventually be destroyed by. The first brutal lesson. Here is Machiavelli's first brutal lesson. Never tolerate behaviors that weaken your power. Do not excuse them. Do not delay. Do not hope they will fade, because every moment of tolerance is an invitation, and every invitation strengthens the enemy at your table. The uneasy question. So ask yourself, who is sitting at your table right now? The colleague who flatters you while secretly undermining you? The friend who takes without giving? The partner who defies you openly? If you are honest, you already know who they are. And if you do nothing, you have already made your choice. You have chosen weakness. But these are not vague dangers. Machiavelli named them. He warned of specific poisons you must cut out without hesitation. And the first two are the most obvious and the most dangerous. Betrayal, which robs you of loyalty, and cowardice, which robs you of action. That is part 2. The ruthless truth about betrayal and cowardice. Betrayal and cowardice. If there are 2 poisons Machiavelli despised most, they were betrayal and cowardice. Together, they ruin rulers faster than poverty, faster than hatred, faster than any army at the gate, because betrayal robs you of loyalty, cowardice robs you of courage, and when loyalty and courage vanish, power is already dead. The poison of betrayal is always personal. A stranger cannot betray you. Only those you trust can. That is why it cuts so deep. It is not the enemy across the battlefield that ruins you. It is the ally who disappears in the moment of crisis, the friend who feeds your secrets to your rival, the confidant who smiles as they hand you the knife already buried in your back. Machiavelli saw betrayal as inevitable. He warned, men are selfish, ungrateful, liars by nature. They are loyal only while it serves them. And the moment your power weakens, their loyalty will evaporate like mist in the sun. This is not cynicism. It is realism. And if you refuse to accept it, betrayal will destroy you. How princes survived betrayal. Cesare Borgia, Machiavelli's infamous model of power, was betrayed countless times. His mercenaries plotted against him. Allies shifted allegiance overnight. But Cesare did not despair. He expected betrayal, and because he expected it, he turned it into fuel. When betrayal was uncovered, he acted without hesitation. Traitors were executed publicly. Fear replaced sentiment, and in the ashes of treachery, loyalty grew stronger because no one else dared risk disobedience. The lesson is brutal but clear. Betrayal is not erased by forgiveness. Betrayal is erased by fear. Modern betrayals. In today's world, betrayal looks different, but it stings the same. The business partner who secretly cuts deals with competitors. The colleague who undermines you in front of your boss. The friend who shares your weaknesses when it benefits them. Most people react with outrage. They collapse into despair, asking, how could they? But the Machiavellian response is colder, sharper. Of course they did. That is human nature. The question is, what will I do about it? Every betrayal is not just a wound, it is information. It tells you who cannot be trusted. And once you know that, you gain power others don't have. The poison of cowardice. If betrayal poisons loyalty, cowardice poisons action. Cowardice is not fear itself. Everyone feels fear. Cowardice is paralysis, the refusal to act when action is demanded. The ally who flees in crisis. The leader who hesitates until the opportunity is gone. The partner who abandons you when things get difficult. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold. He compared fortune to a violent woman, one who must be dominated by decisive force. The coward will never dominate fortune. They will be trampled by it. A coward may look harmless in peace, but when storms come, they become dead weight. Worse, their fear infects others, spreading panic like a plague. Historical cowardice. History is littered with rulers destroyed not by enemies, but by their own hesitation. Fabius Maximus, the Roman delayer, refused to confront Hannibal directly. His caution bred fear, drained morale, and nearly broke Rome. Machiavelli despised such hesitation. In his eyes, a bad decision was often better than no decision at all, because a leader who hesitates loses the respect of allies and emboldens enemies. Modern cowardice today. Cowardice wears polite disguises. Risk management, waiting for the right moment, playing it safe. But strip away the words, and it is still paralysis. The CEO who delays change until competitors devour the market. The politician who avoids hard choices until no one respects them. The individual who spends years waiting for perfect timing while life passes them by. Cowardice is not safety. It is slow suicide. Why tolerance is fatal. If you tolerate betrayal, you allow snakes to share your bed. If you tolerate cowardice, you invite weakness into your army. Both poisons spread when left unchecked. Tolerated betrayal multiplies. As others see, there is no consequence. Tolerated cowardice infects the group, turning bold men into frightened sheep. The result is always the same: collapse. The Machiavellian counter. So, what do you do? Expect betrayal. Never be shocked. Always ask, who benefits if I fall? Punish swiftly. Forgiving traitors is cruelty to yourself. Eliminate them decisively. Test loyalty. Give small challenges to see who stands and who runs. Crush cowardice. Reward boldness. Punish hesitation. Make courage the only safe path. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. The uneasy question. How many betrayals have you tolerated because you feared conflict? How many cowards have you kept close because you feared being alone? Every tolerance is a surrender, and every surrender costs you power. The second brutal lesson. Betrayal robs you of loyalty. Cowardice robs you of action. Tolerate them, and your throne, whether it is your career, your reputation, or your relationships, will eventually collapse. But betrayal and cowardice are only the beginning. Two poisons alone can wound you. Others can blind you, humiliate you, and reduce you to nothing. The next assassins are subtler: flattery, which blinds you, and defiance, which humiliates you. That is part 3, the ruthless truth about flattery and defiance. Flattery and defiance. If betrayal robs you of loyalty and cowardice robs you of action, then flattery and defiance are the poisons that corrode authority itself. One blinds you until you cannot see the truth. The other humiliates you until no one takes you seriously. Together, they hollow out a leader, a parent, a boss, or anyone who holds power. And the cruelest part? Both often start small. A compliment that feels too sweet. A joke made at your expense. You ignore them, but each time you do, your authority slips away. The sweetest poison. Flattery. Flattery is addictive. It feels good. It feeds the ego, soothes doubt, and convinces you that you are wiser, stronger, safer than you really are. But Machiavelli warned that rulers who fall for flattery are already doomed. Because flattery blinds you. It makes you deaf to truth, blind to danger, and numb to reality. In The Prince, he wrote, "There is no other way of guarding oneself against flattery than by letting men understand that you are not offended by the truth." The ruler who punishes honesty will drown in lies. How flattery destroys. The danger of flattery is subtle but deadly. The king who listens only to flatterers thinks his people adore him until rebellion erupts. The CEO surrounded by yes men believes his strategy is flawless until the company collapses. The person who hears only praise thinks they are improving, when in truth, they are stagnant. Flatterers don't serve you. They serve themselves. They feed illusions, not because they love you, but because it keeps them close to your power. And the more you believe them, the weaker you become. The Machiavellian counter. So, how do you fight flattery? By cultivating an environment where truth is dangerous to ignore, but safe to speak. Machiavelli advised rulers to allow only a few trusted advisors to speak honestly, but only when asked. Why? Because unlimited honesty creates chaos, but selective truth keeps you sharp. In your own life, this means identifying the rare voices who tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Protect those voices. Everyone else is a flatterer, polishing a mask while plotting behind it. The second assassin, defiance. If flattery blinds you, defiance humiliates you. Defiance is not private disagreement. It is public challenge, the subordinate who mocks you in front of others, the ally who undermines you openly, the critic who insults you with no consequence. Machiavelli warned, if you let defiance go unanswered, your authority collapses. Because authority is not just control, it is perception. If one person defies you without punishment, everyone else learns it is safe to do the same. The power of public example. History shows this truth brutally. When the Roman Senate openly defied Caesar, he crushed them. Delay would have made him appear weak. Action made him a legend. When Cesare Borgia faced insubordination, he executed the offender in public, not just to punish, but to send a message: disrespect is death. These were not acts of cruelty, they were acts of survival. Leaders who ignored defiance did not keep peace. They invited rebellion. Modern defiance. Today, defiance appears in new forms. The employee who openly undermines their boss during a meeting. The politician who ridicules an opponent without retaliation. The partner or friend who dismisses boundaries, testing how much disrespect you will accept. If you tolerate it once, it becomes habit. If you crush it early, it vanishes. The Machiavellian counter-defiance must be met with decisive strength. In Machiavelli's day, that often meant blood. Today, it may mean stripping someone of influence, cutting them off, removing them from your circle. But it must be visible. Authority survives on perception. If people see you ignore disrespect, respect dies. But if they see you answer disrespect immediately, respect grows. The uneasy realization. Now ask yourself, how many flatterers do you keep close because their praise feels good? How many acts of defiance have you tolerated because you hoped they would fade on their own? Here is the brutal truth. What you do not crush, you cultivate. The third brutal lesson. Flattery blinds you. Defiance humiliates you. Together, they make you weak, ridiculous, and disposable. If you allow them to remain at your table, power will slip through your fingers before you realize it is gone. But there are still darker poisons. Flattery blinds, defiance humiliates. Yet ingratitude eats away at loyalty, and ambition without loyalty burns like fire in the dark. That is part 4. The ruthless truth about ingratitude and ambition without loyalty. Ingratitude and disloyal ambition. Some poisons come wrapped in sweetness. Gratitude that fades too quickly. Loyalty that was never real, only borrowed. These poisons are ingratitude and disloyal ambition, and if betrayal and flattery wound you, these two will hollow you out from the inside. They are slower, subtler, but just as deadly. Because you don't see them at first. You only see the smile, the handshake, the promises, and by the time you realize the truth, they've already stolen your crown. The rot of ingratitude. Ingratitude is treachery without the dagger. It is loyalty that vanishes the moment the gift has been received. It is forgetting the hand that lifted them, the ally who gave them strength, the leader who gave them opportunity. Machiavelli despised ingratitude because it revealed the selfishness at the core of human nature. People love you when they need you. They vanish once they no longer do. Historical lessons. The Medici family in Florence made their fortune by granting power to allies. But those allies often turned against them as soon as their own position was secure. Machiavelli himself experienced this poison. After serving Florence, he was cast aside, imprisoned, even tortured. not because he failed, but because gratitude evaporated when new rulers no longer needed him. History proved his warning true. Men are more ready to repay injury than benefit, because gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure. Modern ingratitude. Today, ingratitude looks like this: the employee you mentored who suddenly denies you credit, the friend you helped who disappears when you need help, the partner who forgets every sacrifice the moment someone else offers them more. And the truth is brutal. Ingratitude is not an exception. It is the rule. The sooner you accept this, the less power it has over you. The Machiavellian counter. What do? Expect it. Never assume favors create loyalty. They create dependence, which ends the moment the dependence does. Balance reward and fear. Give benefits, but make sure their security depends on you, not just their gratitude. Record actions, not words. Ignore what people say about loyalty. Watch what they do. Machiavelli's remedy was cold but effective. Don't rely on gratitude. Rely on necessity. Make others need you, and their ingratitude won't matter because they cannot afford to leave. The fire of disloyal ambition. If ingratitude robs you quietly, disloyal ambition burns you openly. Ambition itself is not evil. Machiavelli admired it when it served the ruler, but disloyal ambition is ambition that devours loyalty. It is the subordinate who grows so hungry for power that they no longer respect their master. This is the fire that destroys empires from within. Historical lessons. In Rome, Caesar's assassins justified their betrayal as saving the Republic. But beneath the noble words was naked ambition. They wanted power for themselves. Their ambition destroyed Caesar, but also destroyed them because they underestimated how quickly Rome would turn against them. Cesare Borgia understood this truth. He rewarded ambitious men only while their hunger served him. The moment ambition turned disloyal, he crushed it without hesitation. Modern disloyal ambition. Today, you see it everywhere. The employee who secretly plots to replace their boss. The business partner who wants the whole company, not half. The friend who resents your success, turning competition into betrayal. Disloyal ambition is subtle at first, a sarcastic comment, a refusal to share credit, a hidden rivalry. Ignore it, and soon they are stealing allies, spreading whispers, building their own army. The Machiavellian counter Machiavelli's advice here was merciless. Keep ambitious people close, but under control. Divide their attention. Give them tasks that exhaust their hunger so they cannot plot against you. Reward, but limit. Feed their ambition enough to keep them useful, but never so much that they feel independent of you. Crush betrayal early. Once ambition becomes disloyal, hesitation is fatal. Better to be feared than loved. And for the ambitious, better to be feared than envied. The uneasy realization. Now ask yourself, how many people in your circle are loyal only as long as they benefit? How many smile, but in their heart, hunger for your throne? Here is the brutal truth. Power always attracts ambition. The more you rise, the more others want your place. And if you do not control it, they will eventually take it. The fourth brutal lesson. Ingratitude robs you of loyalty after the fact. Disloyal ambition robs you of loyalty before the fact. One forgets what you've done, the other wants what you have. Both are fatal if tolerated. We've now seen 6 poisons: betrayal, cowardice, flattery, defiance, ingratitude, and disloyal ambition. But the 7th is the most dangerous of all, because it doesn't come from others. It comes from within you. That is part 5, the ruthless truth about the final poison, self-delusion. The final poison, self-delusion. We have walked through 6 poisons that corrode power: betrayal, cowardice, flattery, defiance, ingratitude, and disloyal ambition. Each of them is deadly. Each of them can destroy you if tolerated. But the seventh poison is the most dangerous of all, because it doesn't come from others. It comes from within you. That poison is self-delusion. The enemy within Machiavelli warned that rulers are not destroyed only by enemies. They are destroyed by their own illusions, the lies they tell themselves, the blindness they choose. Self-delusion is fatal because it robs you of clarity, and power without clarity is already collapsing. The faces of self-delusion. Self-delusion wears many masks. The mask of invincibility. You convince yourself you are too strong to fall. That betrayal cannot touch you, that cowardice won't spread, that enemies will not dare. History is filled with kings who believed this, and now they are dust. The mask of morality. You tell yourself you can win in a ruthless world by staying pure, that you can lead without hard decisions, that kindness will protect you. It never does. The mask of comfort. You believe the storm is far away, that your power is safe, that time is on your side. But storms do not warn before they break. The deadliest poison is not what others do to you. It is what you let yourself believe. Historical lessons. Consider Louis XVI of France. Surrounded by warning signs, he convinced himself his people still loved him. Even as revolution burned at the gates, he chose comfort over clarity. His delusion cost him his throne and his head. Or think of Napoleon. After conquering Europe, he convinced himself he was invincible. His arrogance led him into Russia and into disaster. Machiavelli's lesson was simple. Fortune destroys those who refuse to see the truth. Modern self-delusion. Today, self-delusion is everywhere. The executive who believes his position is secure until he is replaced overnight. The politician who ignores public anger, thinking charisma alone will save them. The individual who refuses to face their weaknesses, clinging to illusions while reality crushes them. Each one falls, not because enemies were too strong, but because they refused to see. The Machiavellian counter. So how do you kill the poison within? Seek brutal honesty. Surround yourself with truth, not comfort. Reward those who reveal reality, even when it stings. Measure, don't assume. Track results, test loyalty, question appearances. Never confuse words for proof. Expect disaster. Machiavelli advised rulers to prepare for storms in times of peace. If you prepare for betrayal, cowardice, flattery, and rebellion, you will not be shocked when they come. Crush illusions fast. The longer you tolerate self-delusion, the deeper it grows. Kill it at the root. The uneasy question. Now, pause. Out of all 7 poisons, which one have you tolerated most? Have you excused betrayal because you feared conflict? Have you indulged in flattery because it felt good? Have you ignored cowardice because it was easier than confrontation? Have you comforted yourself with illusions because the truth was too heavy? These are the questions Machiavelli forces us to ask. Questions that burn, because the answers reveal why we are weak, why we stumble, why power slips away from our hands. The 7th brutal lesson. The final truth is this. You are not only betrayed by others, you are betrayed by yourself. And unless you learn to face that betrayal, all the other lessons mean nothing. Because the most dangerous traitor, the most cowardly ally, the most flattering liar, the most defiant enemy, the most ungrateful follower, the most ambitious rival, is the illusion you nurture within your own mind. The dark empowerment. But here is the power in Machiavelli's lesson. If the deadliest poison comes from within, then so does the antidote. If you kill your own illusions, you cannot be blinded. If you refuse, self-delusion, betrayal cannot surprise you. Cowardice cannot drag you down. Flattery cannot seduce you. Defiance cannot humiliate you. Ingratitude cannot wound you. Ambition cannot steal from you. The ruthless truth is this. Clarity is the foundation of power. And Machiavelli's gift is teaching you to see the world as it truly is, not as you wish it to be. The closing challenge. So I will leave you with a question. Which of these 7 poisons do you tolerate most in your life? And what will you do about it? Do you think Machiavelli was right, or was he too ruthless? Leave your thoughts below. And remember, this channel is for those who dare to see the world as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to Ruthless Psychology and join a community that uncovers the hidden rules of power, control, and influence. Because here, we don't just play the game, we learn to win it.